They sold the alien girl for scrap, then a human made her priceless asterisk. The market of Tureth 9 was filled with noise, dust, and greed. Traders shouted prices for metal, beasts, and slaves under the burning red sun. The air smelled of oil and sweat. Among the crowd stood a small figure, a young alien girl named Rin. Her wrists were chained, her skin pale blue and bruised. Her large, silver eyes stared at the ground. She didn't cry. She had already run out of tears. The alien auctioneer raised his voice. A half-grown servant. Strong bones, clean heart, barely used. Start at 10 credits. The crowd laughed. No one offered a single coin. 5 then. The auctioneer barked, looking around angrily. 5 credits. She can clean, cook, or guard your animals. A fat alien in red armor smirked. She's worthless. Too weak, too small. Maybe 2 credits. Another shouted. She won't survive a week. The auctioneer's tail twitched. 1 credit then. The crowd went silent. Even for a slave, that was an insult. Rin's stomach twisted. She had been trained to serve, to obey, but this moment broke something inside her. She wasn't even worth the price of food. And then someone spoke. I'll take her. The voice was calm, deep, and human. Every head turned. Standing at the edge of the market was a man in a dusty travel coat, wearing old Terran armor with faded insignia. His face was tired, his beard rough, and his eyes sharp like steel. The auctioneer blinked. You human? You'll buy her? The man nodded. 1 credit. Transfer it. The crowd murmured. A few laughed loudly. The human's lost his mind. Collecting junk now? The auctioneer didn't care. He took the credit and handed over the chain. Rin looked up slowly. The man stared at her, not with disgust, not with hunger, but with something strange. Pity. What's your name? He asked. She hesitated. Rin. All right, Rin, he said quietly. You're free now. She blinked in confusion. Free? What does that mean? The man unclipped the metal cuff from her wrist. The chain fell to the dirt. It means you walk where you want. Rin stared at the open desert beyond the market. The suns were setting, painting the sky orange. Freedom. She didn't know whether to believe it or run. The man turned to leave. Come if you want food. Or don't, your choice. For a moment, she stood frozen. No one had ever given her a choice. Finally, she followed. They walked through the crowded streets in silence. The noise of the market faded behind them. After some time, she whispered, Why did you buy me? He didn't answer right away. His boots crunched over the sand. Because no one else would. That's not a reason, she said softly. He looked down at her. It's good enough for me. They stopped at a small landing pad outside the city. A battered human ship rested there, its engines humming softly. The man climbed aboard. Come on. Rin followed, still unsure. The inside of the ship was messy but warm. The smell of oil and coffee filled the air. He pointed to a seat. Sit, you hungry? She nodded slowly. He handed her a small ration bar. She sniffed it first, then took a cautious bite. Her eyes widened. It was the best thing she'd tasted in months. What's your name? She asked between bites. Cole, he said. Engineer, pilot, and sometimes idiot. She tilted her head. Why would you help someone like me? He smiled faintly. Because once, someone helped me when I didn't deserve it either. Rin looked down at her hands. The bruises, the scars, the dirt. She didn't understand humans. Everyone said they were cold and cruel. But this one was strange. Outside, the twin suns dipped below the horizon, leaving the desert in a deep red glow. As the ship rose slowly into the air, Rin turned to the window. The market shrank below them. The place where she had been sold like trash. She didn't know it yet, but this human, This quiet man named Cole had just changed her entire life, and somewhere deep inside, for the first time, a tiny spark of hope began to burn. Asterisk, the hum of the ship filled the silence. Outside, stars drifted by like glowing dust. Inside, the air felt strange to Rin, too calm, too safe. She sat on the edge of a seat, still afraid to touch anything. Her chains were gone, but her fear remained. Cole sat across from her, checking a datapad. His movements were steady, focused. He didn't look like the cruel humans her masters used to talk about. They had always said humans were cold-hearted machines, good only for war and work. But this man, he had kind eyes, even when they were tired. Finally, Rin spoke, her voice small. "Why did you save me?" Cole didn't look up. "Didn't save you. Just couldn't watch them throw another life away." "That's the same thing," she said quietly. He smirked faintly. "Maybe." Rin hesitated, then asked, "Are you going to sell me again?" Cole froze. Slowly, he put the datapad down. "No, I don't sell people. I fix machines, not lives." She studied him, searching for lies. There were none. His honesty made her even more confused. "Then why keep me?" Cole sighed. "Because you looked like someone who still had a fight left in her. And maybe because I'm tired of watching good people die." The ship rattled slightly as it entered orbit over a barren moon. Cole moved to the cockpit, flipping switches. Rin followed, curiosity slowly winning over fear. Through the glass, she saw a gray landscape dotted with metal ruins. "What is this place?" she asked. "Old mining colony," Cole said. "Abandoned years ago. I come here for parts." He landed the ship near a broken hangar. The engines cooled with a hiss. Cole grabbed his tool belt and opened the hatch. "Stay close. There are things here you don't want to meet." Rin's heart pounded, but she followed him down the ramp. The air outside was cold, thin, filled with the echo of forgotten machines. The ground crunched beneath their boots. Cole moved through the ruins like someone who had done this 1,000 times. Rin stayed behind him, her eyes wide, her tail twitching nervously. They entered a dark building filled with half-buried drones. Cole crouched and began pulling wires and chips from an old power unit. "Hand me that light," he said. She did. For the first time, he smiled. "Good, you learn fast." Her cheeks warmed. "I used to clean machines for my masters," she admitted. "Never saw one this old." "Age doesn't matter," Cole said, tightening a bolt. "Everything can be fixed. Even the broken ones." Something in his tone made her chest tighten. He wasn't just talking about machines. Suddenly, a noise echoed through the hall, metal scraping against stone. Rin froze. "What was that?" Cole stood up, blaster in hand. "Stay behind me." From the shadows emerged 3 scavenger bots, their red eyes glowing. Their bodies were rusted, but their claws were sharp. They scanned the intruders, then advanced. Cole fired a warning shot. "Back off." The bots didn't listen. One lunged. Cole shot again, hitting its chest, but another rushed from the side. It slammed into him, knocking him down. Rin screamed. Without thinking, she grabbed a metal pipe and struck the bot's head. Sparks flew. It turned toward her, hissing. She swung again, harder this time, until the light in its eyes died out. Cole got up, breathing heavily. "Not bad," he said. "You ever done that before?" She shook her head, trembling. "No, I was never allowed to fight." He smiled. "You should have been." They stood in silence for a moment, surrounded by smoke and the smell of burnt metal. Rin's hands shook, but she felt something new. Strength. As they walked back to the ship, Cole glanced at her. "You handled yourself well. I could use someone like you on board." Rin looked at him, surprised. "You mean, stay with you?" He shrugged. "If you want. You don't owe me anything." She hesitated, then nodded slowly. I'll stay. But not because I owe you. Because I want to learn. Cole's smile was small but real. Deal. They climbed aboard as the twin moons rose above the ruins. For the first time in her life, Rin felt something close to belonging. She didn't know what waited ahead, but beside this strange human, she wasn't afraid anymore. Outside, the stars shimmered like sparks from a broken machine, slowly coming back to life. The next morning, Rin woke up to the sound of metal tools clinking and the low hum of the ship's engine. The scent of warm air and oil filled her lungs. For the first time in her life, she had slept without fear. No cold floors, no shouting voices, no pain. Just quiet. She sat up, blinking at the light that filtered through the ship's small windows. Cole was already awake, kneeling near the engine room, fixing a broken valve. His sleeves were rolled up, his hands black with grease. He noticed her watching. "Morning," he said without looking up. "You hungry?" Rin hesitated. "Yes, but I don't want to waste your food." Cole chuckled softly. "Food isn't a waste when it keeps someone alive. Check the storage. There should be ration packs top shelf, gray box." She found them and began to eat slowly, watching him work. His movements were sure, precise, but there was a strange heaviness in his face, like a man who had seen too many battles and not enough peace. After a few minutes, she spoke quietly. "You fix things all the time." "That's the job," he said. "Engines, ships, sometimes people." She tilted her head. "People can't be fixed." He looked up then, meeting her eyes. "That's what broken people always say." Rin lowered her gaze. His words stung, but not in a cruel way, more like he had spoken from a wound he carried himself. The silence stretched until a soft beeping filled the air. Cole frowned and checked the control screen. His face hardened instantly. "What is it?" Rin asked. "Trouble," he muttered. "We've got a patrol ship on scan alien markings. Same species as your clan." Rin froze. "They'll kill you if they find me here." "Yeah," he said, strapping on his utility belt. "That's what I'm trying to avoid." Cole switched off the external lights and powered down the engines. The ship went dark, silent. Only the faint glow of the dashboard remained. The patrol ship's signal grew closer, a low hum vibrating through the hull. Rin's heart pounded. She could almost feel their presence. The cold eyes of her clan, the same ones who had sold her for 1 credit. "Why are they here?" she whispered. Cole narrowed his eyes. "Probably looking for anyone who breaks their trade laws. Or maybe they followed the sale records from the market." Rin grabbed his arm. "If they find me, they'll kill you too. You should let me go." He turned sharply. "Not happening." "You don't understand." "I understand enough," he interrupted. "They already took everything from you. I'm not letting them take what's left." Before she could reply, a harsh metallic voice echoed through the ship's speakers. "Unregistered human vessel. Power down and prepare for inspection." Cole cursed under his breath. "They found us." He glanced at Rin. "Hide back compartment, now." "But, go!" Rin ran to the rear storage, crawling behind old cargo crates. The door sealed shut just as the ship shuddered. The patrol had locked on. Cole took a deep breath and opened the communications channel. "This is Engineer Cole Ward, freelance mechanic. I'm unarmed. Just salvaging parts." Static crackled before the voice replied coldly. "We detected illegal life signatures on your ship. Prepare for boarding." Cole's eyes darkened. "They're not getting her." He grabbed his pulse rifle from under the console and positioned himself by the entrance. The door hissed open. 3 armored aliens stepped inside. "Rifles ready. Hands where we can see them, human," one ordered. Cole raised his hands slowly, pretending to comply. As the lead soldier approached, scanning the area, Cole moved fast, grabbing the soldier's weapon, twisting and firing in one motion. A flash of blue light filled the ship. The other two shouted and fired back. Bolts of plasma burned through the air, scorching the walls. Cole ducked behind cover, returning fire with precision. One fell. The other fled back toward the hatch. The noise echoed through the ship, then silence. Smoke drifted through the corridor. Rin crawled out from hiding, eyes wide with fear and awe. Cole stood panting, his arm bleeding slightly, but he was alive. She rushed to him. "You could have died." He smiled weakly. "Wouldn't be the first time." She glared at him. "Why do you keep doing this? Risking yourself for me?" He looked at her for a long moment. "Because someone has to. And because I'm tired of watching the strong crush the helpless." Rin swallowed hard. No one had ever spoken like that before. As Cole sealed the door and restarted the engines, she felt something shift inside her. Fear slowly turned into trust. The human who had bought her for one credit had just fought soldiers of her own race to protect her. For the first time in her life, Rin started to believe that maybe, just maybe, this man wasn't fixing her out of pity. Maybe he was teaching her what it meant to be alive. The ship drifted quietly through the endless black, stars shimmering beyond the glass like distant fires. The silence was heavy, broken only by the soft hum of the engine, and the faint hiss of patched metal where plasma had scarred the hull. Rin sat at the edge of the medical bunk, watching Cole wrap a bandage around his arm. The wound still glowed faintly, but his hands were steady. He didn't complain, didn't flinch, he just worked in silence. Finally she whispered, "You shouldn't have done that." Cole looked up, eyebrow raised. "Done what?" "Fought them. Killed them. They were my people." He tied the bandage tight. "Were they?" Rin's voice shook. "They were once. Before they sold me. Before they laughed while I was chained like an animal." Cole nodded slowly. "Then maybe you already have your answer." She said nothing. The truth hurt more than the bruises ever had. For a while, neither spoke. The stars slid past, quiet and endless. Rin's mind wandered to the faces of her clan, to the marketplace, to the sound of her own name being called not as a person, but as property. She clenched her fists, fighting the sting in her eyes. Cole stood, walked to the cockpit, and adjusted the coordinates. "We'll head for Outpost Theta," he said. "I can get fuel and a new hull plate there. Is it safe?" "Nothing's safe," he said simply. "But it's better than drifting until we run out of air." Rin followed him, staring at the star map. "You've been to so many worlds," she murmured. "Do humans ever stop running?" Cole chuckled softly. "We don't run. We rebuild." She tilted her head. "That's strange." "Yeah," he said, glancing at her. "We are." Hours later, the ship entered the dusty orbit of a small station floating above a barren planet. Its metal rings turned slowly, creaking like an old machine barely holding itself together. "Outpost Theta," Cole said, flipping a switch. "Don't touch anything unless I tell you to. And stay close." Rin nodded. The hatch opened with a hiss. The air smelled like burnt oil and metal rust. Aliens from dozens of races filled the narrow corridors, traitors, mercenaries, scavengers. Most ignored them. Some stared. Cole walked straight ahead, calm and confident, as if he'd been here 100 times. Rin stayed half a step behind him, her tail twitching nervously. At the fuel bay, an old alien mechanic greeted Cole with a grin. "You again, human. I thought you'd be dead by now." Cole smirked. "Almost was. Need hull patching and fresh plasma filters." The mechanic pointed at Rin. "And the girl?" Cole's tone was cool. "She's with me." The alien chuckled. Didn't know humans kept pets now. Before Rin could react, Cole's voice cut through the air, low and sharp. "Say that again." The mechanic froze. He saw something dangerous flicker in Cole's eyes, the kind of quiet fury that came from too many wars and too little mercy. The alien raised his hands. All right. No offense meant. Cole turned away. Come on, Rin. They left the bay, the tension still burning between them. Rin looked up at him, confused. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, he said softly. I did. Her voice trembled. Why do you keep defending me? I'm not even human. Cole stopped walking. For a moment, he said nothing. Then, quietly, doesn't matter what you are. What matters is who you choose to be. She stared at him, speechless. No one had ever said words like that to her. They reached the upper decks, where a wide glass window showed the planet below, red deserts, silver storms. Cole leaned against the railing. You know, when I was younger, he said, I fought in a war. Thought I was doing the right thing. Thought humans were better. Then I saw what we did to others. What we became. Rin turned toward him. And now? He smiled faintly. Now I fix what I can. She stepped closer, looking out at the endless sky. Maybe I can learn that too. Cole glanced at her, the faintest warmth in his tired eyes. You already are. For the first time, Rin smiled small, but real. In that quiet moment, standing beside the man who had risked everything for her, she realized something. Kindness was not weakness, that it was strength, the kind her people had forgotten long ago, outside. The stars burned brighter, and in their silent glow, two souls from different worlds began to understand that maybe saving each other was the only way to save themselves. Outpost Theta spun slowly in the darkness, a lonely speck of light surrounded by endless void. From inside the viewport, Rin could see the planet below, red storms twisting like veins of fire. She'd never been this far from her homeworld, never this far from the chains that once bound her. Yet even here, freedom felt fragile. Cole stood at the controls, scanning readouts. His eyes narrowed. We need to move fast, he said. Rin turned. What's wrong? Those soldiers we fought, they sent a distress signal before I took them down. His voice was calm, but heavy. Their fleet will track the energy burst straight to this outpost. Rin's heart dropped. Then they're coming. Yeah, Cole said. And when they find us, they won't stop at words. He started prepping the ship for launch, but before he could finish, a harsh metallic alarm blared through the station. Incoming vessels detected. All ships prepare for lockdown. The noise hit her like thunder. Cole looked out the viewport. 3 black ships emerged from hyperspace, sleek and sharp. Vorthan hunters, elite enforcers of Rin's clan. Rin's breath caught. They brought hunters. For me? Cole loaded his rifle. Looks like you're worth more than 1 credit now. Despite the tension, she almost smiled. That's not funny. Didn't say it was. They ran through the narrow corridors toward the docking bay. The station shook as plasma bolts hit the outer hull. Lights flickered, alarms screamed, and terrified traders scattered in every direction. Cole moved like a soldier who had lived through this chaos before. He pulled Rin behind cover as explosions lit the walls red. Keep low, he shouted. A squad of armored aliens stormed through the hall, scanning faces. Rin's chest tightened. She recognized their insignias. One of them was Varese, her cousin, a name she thought she'd never hear again. Varese shouted orders, his voice booming. Search every dock. The human has her. Rin froze. That's him, she whispered. Cole peeked around the corner. Family reunion later. Move. They slipped through a maintenance tunnel just before the hunters turned the corner. Cole's hand brushed the metal walls, guiding her through the dark. The tunnel was narrow, full of dust and flickering light. Behind them, the sound of boots echoed closer. Cole, she said softly, If they catch us, you should leave me. I'll tell them you were my prisoner." He stopped, turning to face her. "Not happening. You don't understand. I do." His voice was firm. "You think saving you was a mistake. But it wasn't. The mistake would be leaving you now." Rin felt something tighten in her chest. She wanted to speak, but there were no words big enough for the storm inside her. Cole kicked open a small hatch, leading them into the docking bay. His ship waited there, scarred, patched, but ready. He powered it up while Rin climbed into the gunner's seat. "Strap in," he said. The engines roared. The hangar doors began to open just as the hunters burst into the bay, firing plasma bolts that cut through the air. Rin's hands shook, but she remembered Cole's words. "You should have been allowed to fight." She aimed the turret and fired. The cannons blazed, striking one of the hunter ships. It exploded in a burst of blue flame. Cole grinned. "Not bad. Maybe I learn fast," she said, voice trembling with adrenaline. The ship lifted off the pad, spinning through the chaos. 2 hunter vessels followed close behind. Cole pushed the throttle. "Hold tight." They dove through the debris field, plasma fire streaking past. Sparks flew inside the cockpit as one blast grazed their wing. The ship shuddered, engines overheating. Rin shouted. Cole didn't blink. "Then we use what's left." He pulled a lever, flipping the ship upside down. The hunters followed and flew right into the wreckage of a drifting fuel tanker. The explosion lit the void like a sun. For a long moment, everything was silent again, except the hum of the damaged engines. Cole leaned back, catching his breath. "That should buy us some time." Rin looked at him, eyes wide. "You could have died." He smiled faintly. "You keep saying that like it's new." Her heart beat fast, not from fear this time, but from something deeper, something she couldn't explain. She looked out the window at the stars. "Where will we go now?" "Somewhere they can't find us," he said. "And maybe somewhere you can start again." Rin turned to him, her voice quiet but sure. "Then I'm not going anywhere without you." Cole met her gaze. "Didn't plan on it." The stars stretched ahead, cold, endless, and full of danger. But for the first time, Rin wasn't afraid of what waited in the dark, because beside her was the one human who refused to walk away. Asterisk. The stars turned into silver lines as the ship jumped into hyperspace. The hum of the engine filled the silence, low and steady, like a heartbeat. Rin sat in the co-pilot's chair, staring out the window, her thoughts a storm. Behind them, a fleet was hunting her clan's best warriors, chasing one girl and the human who refused to give her up. Cole's hands moved across the controls with practiced precision. His eyes were fixed on the glowing coordinates ahead, but his voice stayed calm. "We'll need a place to lay low. The ship's too damaged to keep running forever." Rin looked at the cracked screens and flickering lights. "Where can we even go? Every system my people control will be searching for us." Cole smirked faintly. "Then we go where no one wants to go." Her brow furrowed. "Where's that?" He entered new coordinates. "The grave belt." Rin's eyes widened. "That place is cursed. It's full of old wrecks and radiation storms." "Exactly," Cole said, flipping a switch. "Perfect spot to disappear." Hours later, they emerged from hyperspace into a field of broken ships. The grave belt stretched for light years, thousands of shattered vessels drifting in silence, each one a ghost from some forgotten war. Rin pressed her face to the glass. "It's beautiful. And terrifying." Cole nodded. "Like most things worth seeing." He guided the ship between rusted hulls and frozen debris until they reached the shadow of a massive dreadnought. The dead ship hung like a skeleton against the stars. "We'll dock there," he said. "The metal's thick enough to block scanners." They landed inside a torn hangar bay, the air thick with dust and silence. Cole powered down the engines. The hum stopped, leaving only the creak of cooling metal. Rin followed him as he checked the systems. "You've done this before," she said. "Running?" He chuckled dryly. "Too many times." She smiled faintly. "You're good at it." He looked at her, the corner of his mouth lifting. "You're not bad yourself." For a while, the quiet felt almost peaceful. Cole fixed the wiring, while Rin helped clean and stabilize the power supply. She was learning fast how to read human tools, how to solder, how to repair. Every spark reminded her that she was no longer useless, no longer property. At one point, Cole handed her a wrench. "Here, tighten that." She hesitated. "Like this?" He leaned closer, guiding her hand. "Not so hard. Machines are like people, they need balance." His touch was steady, warm. Their eyes met for a brief second before she looked away, her cheeks glowing faintly blue. "Balance," she repeated softly. Cole smiled, but before he could reply, a faint beep sounded from his wrist console. He frowned. "Incoming transmission. Low band frequency." Rin's eyes narrowed. "They found us?" He shook his head. "No, it's something else." The static-filled voice broke through. "Human vessel, this is Commander Arden of the Terran Fleet. Identify yourself." Cole froze. "That's impossible. The fleet was destroyed years ago." "Terran Fleet?" Rin whispered. "Your people?" He didn't answer immediately. Memories flickered behind his eyes. Battles, fire, loss. "They were my people. But if someone's using their now, we need to be careful." Rin touched his arm gently. "Maybe they can help. Or maybe it's a trap," he said. "Out here, everything has a price." The transmission repeated, louder this time. "Engineer Cole Ward, we know you're out there. Surrender the alien, and we'll grant you safe passage." Rin's face went pale. "They want me too." Cole's jaw tightened. "Then they're not my people anymore." He stood, pulling his rifle from the wall. "We need to move. If they trace this signal, we don't have long." Rin followed him through the corridors of the dead dreadnought, their flashlights cutting through the dark. The air was still, heavy with ghosts of old wars. She whispered, "Cole, why keep risking everything? You could have handed me over and been free." He stopped and turned to her, his face lit faintly by the glow of her eyes. "Because freedom means nothing if I have to trade someone else's for it." Her throat tightened. "You're not like any human they told us about." He smiled faintly. "And you're not like any alien I was warned about." They moved deeper into the ship, footsteps echoing in the hollow silence. Somewhere behind them, faint metallic thuds echoed docking clamps. Whoever sent that message had arrived. Cole tightened his grip on his weapon. "Looks like they found us after all." Rin took a deep breath, her voice trembling but strong. "Then we fight, together." Cole looked at her and nodded. "Together." Outside, the grave belt stirred as lights from a new ship pierced the dark. For the first time, both human and alien knew they weren't just running anymore. They were about to fight for the right to exist. The air inside the dead dreadnought was heavy and cold. Dust drifted through the beam of Cole's flashlight as he and Rin moved deeper into the metal maze. Behind them, the echo of docking clamps and bootsteps grew louder. Whoever had sent the transmission was now inside the ship. Cole pressed a finger to his lips, motioning for silence. Rin nodded, her glowing silver eyes scanning the shadows. They ducked behind a fallen bulkhead, breaths shallow. A faint voice echoed through the corridors. "Human vessel detected. Heat signatures confirmed." Cole's grip on his rifle tightened. "They're using old Terran scanners," he whispered. "Military grade. Whoever these people are, they're not scavengers." Rin looked at him, her voice trembling. "Could they really be your kind? From Earth?" He didn't answer. Part of him wanted to believe it. The other part, the part that had seen what humans could become when, desperate, knew better. Footsteps drew closer, metallic, precise, the kind that came from soldiers. Cole pointed to a nearby vent. "Go," he mouthed. Rin shook her head. "I'm not leaving you." He stared at her, frustrated and strangely proud. "You're getting stubborn." "You taught me," she said simply. The corner of his mouth twitched, but there was no time for a smile. The footsteps stopped right outside their hiding spot. A shadow fell across the floor. Cole held his breath. Then metal screeched. A soldier yanked the cover away, rifle raised. Cole reacted instantly, slamming the butt of his weapon into the man's chest and firing once. The blast echoed down the corridor. The soldier dropped. "Run!" Cole shouted. They sprinted through the corridor as more voices shouted commands behind them. Plasma bolts scorched the walls, lighting the darkness in bursts of blue and red. Cole returned fire, aiming with deadly precision. Rin followed, heart pounding, the smell of ozone sharp in her nose. They reached the hangar bay, where the broken ships hung suspended in the dark. Their own craft sat in the corner, barely functional. Cole started the launch sequence while Rin sealed the hatch. "They'll be on us any second," he said. Come on, come on." The engine sputtered, coughed, then roared to life. But before the ship could lift, a blinding light filled the bay. Another vessel hovered outside, a massive human warship. Still alive, its hull gleaming with the old Terran emblem. Rin's breath caught. "It's real." Cole's jaw tightened. "Yeah, but it's not ours anymore." A voice boomed over the comms, calm and authoritative. "Engineer Cole Ward, by order of the Terran Restoration Fleet, you are under arrest for harboring alien property." "Property?" Rin whispered, her fists trembling. Cole's voice was ice. "You've got the wrong man." "Then prove it," the voice replied. "Surrender the alien. Humanity doesn't need traitors." The word traitor hit harder than any bullet. Cole closed his eyes for a moment. Then he opened them, steady and clear. "No," he said. The cum crackled. "Then you'll die with her." Cole turned to Rin. "Get to the gun controls." "But you can't fight a warship." "Watch me." The hangar shook as the Terran ship fired the first shot. The blast tore through the wreckage, sending debris spinning into the void. Cole launched their ship into the chaos, weaving between broken hulls and burning fragments. Rin fired back, the cannons blazing. Her aim was raw but fierce. Each shot screamed defiance. "They're supposed to be your people." She shouted. "They were," Cole growled. "Not anymore." The fight raged through the grave belt, beams of light cutting across dead metal. The dreadnought's shattered skeleton became their shield. Cole's hands moved like lightning over the controls, his voice calm amid destruction. "Rin, on my mark, vent the fuel tanks." "What?" "Trust me." She hit the switch. A burst of fire erupted behind them, engulfing the pursuing ship in a wave of plasma. The Terran warship veered off course, its hull burning bright. The shockwave rocked them violently. Panels exploded, alarms blared. Rin was thrown against the wall. Cole grabbed the controls, forcing the ship away from the flames. Silence followed, broken. Smoking, beautiful silence. They drifted among the wrecks. The last light of battle fading behind them. Rin turned to him, shaking. "You destroyed them." He looked out at the stars, his face shadowed by guilt and sorrow. "No, I destroyed what they became." For a moment, they just sat there, two survivors from dying worlds. Rin's voice was soft. "So what happens now?" Cole leaned back, exhausted but alive. "Now, we start over. Somewhere no one knows our names." She smiled faintly. "Together?" He nodded. "Always." Outside the cracked window, the grave belt glimmered with the wreckage of centuries. But in the center of that graveyard, a single ship carried something new, something Neither human nor alien had managed to keep alive for a long time. Hope. And as they disappeared into the sea of stars, even the universe seemed to pause and remember that once, against all odds, one human and one alien refused to give up on each other.